everyone, it's Vivian here and you're welcome to my channel. Hope you all are doing well. So in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to make this beautiful crop top right here with a back opening. Okay, so with that said, let's go straight into the video. And also at the end of the video, if you find it helpful or if you enjoy watching the video, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Okay, so to start, you want to take your basic front pattern piece, and next you want to take that and fold the dot points in place. So after folding it, you need to tape it in place, or you can use a pin to pin it in place. So the next step is to take your ruler and your marker and mark where you want your second fabric to be. So you can make this mark on the shoulder point or the armhole. So that's totally up to you. So for me, I'm making mine on the armhole and I'm taking that line across the body of the front piece. So once you have that marked out, you want to go ahead and cut it out. So once you're done cutting it, you need to add another piece of paper in order to add your seam allowance. And I'm going to tape it in place. So next I'm going to go ahead and add my 1/2 inch seam allowance all the way around. So I'm going to do that on both pieces. So once you're done adding your seam allowance, the next step is to cut out the excess paper from the pattern. Okay, so here are the pieces all laid out, the front and the back, as you can see right there. So I went ahead and opened up the dot points on the top part of the front, as you can see. So moving on, so for this top I'm using two different color of fabric, so this brown one and the blue one. So the blue one is going to be for the bottom part of the top, so the bottom part of the front. Okay, so once you have your fabric laid out, the next step is to pin your pattern pieces in place and cut them. Also, I put another fabric on the bottom just because the silk fabric was moving too much. So again, I'm just going ahead to cut out the back pieces. So for the back, I cut two pieces because it's going to be like an open back. So you have to cut the back piece open, like two pieces for the back. Don't forget, you need to add your notches to every corner that needs it. Okay, so once you have your fabric pieces all cut out, the next step is to pin and sew the dot points. So you want to do the same thing on the front part and also on the back piece. So I went ahead and sewed the dot off camera, and there's like an excess fabric hanging out, so I'm just going ahead to trim out the excess fabric, so this will help the dot point to lay flat. So after cutting it, I'm going to take it to my sewing machine and use a zigzag stitch to finish up the rough edges. So if the dot point you make is too big, so you need to cut it down in order to have that part to relax flat. Okay, so once you have your dot point all sewn, the next step now is to connect the front pieces together, making sure the notches are matching. So once you're done pinning it together, you need to take it to your sewing machine and use a straight stitch to sew it down. Okay, so next it's time to connect the front and the back pieces together. So you want to connect them at the shoulder, leaving the sides open. So just pin the shoulder points in place and take it back to your sewing machine and use a straight stitch to sew it down and a zigzag stitch to finish up the raw edges. So while I was cutting out the sleeves, I accidentally shift the fabric, so now I have excess fabric on the top of the sleeve. So in order to fix that, I'm going to be gathering the top. Okay, so to add the sleeves, you need to open up the top and making sure the shoulder point is laying flat. So next, you want to go ahead and pin your sleeve down to the top, and also making sure that the right side of the fabric are facing. So once you're done pinning the sleeve to the top, you want to take it to your sewing machine and use a straight stitch to sew it down and a zigzag stitch to finish up the raw edges. So once you're done attaching the sleeves, the next part now is to sew the sides together. So you want to sew the side, pin the side of the top together and the side of the sleeves together. So once you're done pinning them together, the next step is to take it back to your sewing machine and sew it down using a straight stitch and a zigzag stitch to finish up the raw edges. Okay, so moving on to the next step, I've already went ahead and add the bias tape to the neckline and also the bottom part of the top. So right now I'm going to show you how to add the bias tape to the back opening. So you use the same technique for the neckline and also the bottom part of the top. So to attach your bias tape, you want to open one side of the bias tape just like this. So next you want to go ahead and pin it in place. Okay, so once you're done pinning it in place, you want to take it to your sewing machine and use a straight stitch to sew it down. Once you're done sewing one side of the bias tape down, the next step is to cut out the excess fabric. Okay, you only want to leave a little bit so that way you can fold the bias tape over. So just cut out the excess fabric along the line, just like I'm doing in this video. Okay, so once that is done, you want to take the folded side of the bias tape. Hold on. Okay, so next you want to take your bias tape and fold it over, just like that. The top, fold the top over again, then fold the side over, just like that. So next you want to take your pin and pin along the line. So once you're done pinning it down, again, you want to take it to your sewing machine and do a top stitch. So right now, I'm just going ahead to do a top stitch to finish up the bias tape, sewing along the edge of the bias tape. So for the bottom part of the sleeves, you can also use the bias tape to finish that part off, or you can go ahead and add lace. So for me, I'm going ahead to add lace to the bottom part of the sleeves. So I'm just attaching the lace to the bottom part of the sleeves, just to clean it up and give you that elegant look. So this part is really simple. You just want to cut out the length of the sleeve, of the bottom part of the sleeve, and just attach it and sew it down. So for attaching the lace, depending on the kind of lace you are using, you can use a straight stitch or you can use a zigzag stitch. So that depends on the type of lace you are adding to the bottom part of the sleeve. Okay, so for the final step, you need to add hook to the back. I went ahead and did that off camera. So you just want to hand sew that in place with needle and thread. Okay, and it's all done. Your top is ready to go. I'm just making a little cute bowl on the back. So here is the final result of the crop top. and I love the outcomes. You can see the blue, I use the blue fabric for the sleeves. So, and also the blue fabric, I use that for the bias tape as well. So as you can see, it looks neat, it looks beautiful, and I love it. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. And also, if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below. If you already subscribed, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for popping by today, and I'll see you all in my next one.